Hey everyone, it's craft time. You'll be seeing this project this weekend. I did ear piercing, but I'm just going to do something a little bit fun right now and make her some earrings. So I thought I would walk you through that quick little project. I've got some wire here and some boxes of beads. You'll have to forgive me if my first attempts here are a little sloppy because I haven't made jewelry in a really long time. But I'm going to show you how I make the fish wire style earring hooks that are the right size for doll heads. So this is just a little piece of wire that I had left over from many jewelry projects. I used to make a lot of jewelry and sell it on Etsy. These are round nose pliers. They're not fancy ones, they're just cheap. And I'm using the very tip to create a tiny little loop. From there, I'll just make a larger loop. You can see I've got the end here where the small loop is clamped like right in the middle, and then this end is just going to wrap around here, not all the way down, but about like that. And there's a little doll-sized earring wire. And I might tighten this up and make it a little bit smaller. I'm gonna break something dropping her head like that. And I'm gonna make this just a tiny bit smaller, just sliding it up a little bit. And I'm going to use another pair of pliers to tighten it up. And I'm going to clip some of the extra off the end. There we go. You don't want it to be too big off the end. You want it to be a little bit more straight when working with dolls because unlike people, this will get stuck in her wig and it'll tangle things up and it can pull it right off her head. So we want that to be as small and unintrusive as possible. I could probably stand to make the loop a little bit smaller too. I'll try to make it even smaller on the next one. The biggest challenge with making jewelry for dolls is just making everything look nice and small scale. So I'm about in the middle now. And that looks more like that. Which I think that is probably close to what I want. Maybe just a shade too small. Okay, so there's a little one. We'll try that. Perfect, I just gotta make a couple more like that. And I'm actually gonna leave this little tail here. I don't think it's long enough that it'll interfere with her wig, but it will help keep the earring from slipping out just by having that slight curve there. That slight little bend. So now I just have to make a few more like this. See if I can show the process a little better up closer. Someday I'd like to have a camera with autofocus just because it'll make everything so much easier for filming. Okay. Got it down that far. And bend back up a little. That's 5. Make one more. And that'll give 3 pairs of earrings. So Almost there. It's easier as you go along. There we go. So that's 6. My battery's blinking, so hopefully I'll be able to get through a bit of this. I'm using ball-headed pins to make the actually dangly bit parts of the earrings. I like the ball-headed ones just because I think they're a little bit prettier. You can buy these in bulk online. I get mine from 8 Seasons, which they have amazing prices for jewelry findings and things, but they do have a minimum order amount, so it's only a good idea to buy from them if you plan on doing a lot of crafting where you'll use things like these. They do have some other things like resin molds and occasionally ribbons and stuff like that that you can use for doll projects, so it's worth looking at. Then there's going to be beads. I have so many beads. It's hard to find some that are in scale. I really like these glass beads from Toho. These are Japanese seed glass, and they're so small, but they make really beautiful doll jewelry because they're so tiny, and they're also really consistent in size. I've got boxes and boxes of seed beads and small beads. Like here's some small glass. Might use some of those. There's a lighter blue, which that's not a glass. I don't know what that is, honestly. Some kind of stone because it's got some striation in it. There's more seed beads. And occasionally you can use larger beads like this if you want kind of like statement earrings. See if you can see those. There we go. But I probably wouldn't go much larger than this. This is an 8mm bead. So first I'm going to go through my boxes and find something that I think will work. I really want to make her some pearls. Let's see. I think that looks like pearls in there. These are coral. These are good. A lot of these come from Michael's because that's where I used to work, so a lot of my beads came from there when they were on sale. These are nice ones too. These are check glass teardrops. And those make really nice simple earrings because all you have to do is just put a wire on it and there you go. Beautiful little drop earring. And I have some of those in white as well with the iridescence on them. So I might make some of those, but I think I'm going to start with these leaves because they're large, but I think they'll suit Kit really well. So I'll begin with that. And let's see, I don't know if this is going to be a big enough loop for this. Sometimes you can put the piece directly onto the earring wire and you open it by twisting sideways like this. Okay, it'll fit, just barely. And then twist it shut. And that's one lovely doll earring. When I do the other one, I will make sure the leaf goes on in the other direction so that they can be worn either pointing toward her face or away from it. I need to adjust this earring wire here. I think I've got my little curve a little too sharp. It won't quite go through. If that happens and you get a bend like that that's too much, you can just clamp it right there. Squeeze just a little and straighten it out just a bit at a time. There. Those are really cute. I've got, they look like maybe about 3mm, and then I've got a 6. I think the 6 might be a little too large. Yeah, I want them a little bit more small than that, so I'll stick to those. And I also have silver. These also came from Michael's, and they come in a ton of different colors. They used to be 99 cents per string, and then they doubled the price, and I was not impressed. So, let's zoom back in a little here. So these, I'm just going to put them straight onto the pins. And these wires are really thin and soft. There we go, now I'm in focus. So I'm just going to bend it right over using my thumb to hold it in place. This might not work as well for everybody. I have really, really strong fingernails. If you have soft nails, you might want to try gripping by the bead and bend along there, but... And then we're going to make a loop at the top. And once again, we're going to try to make it really small, but I'm going to show you how to make a wrapped loop. If I can get it to focus here. Okay, so we come around here, and I'm going to push the bead toward the center. It's so small, I'm sorry if it's difficult to see. So there it is, wrapped around there. Let's see if I can focus that. There. So then this, we catch the end of the wire with another pair of pliers and twist it around once. And this is a closed loop. It's wrapped securely, so this will not come undone. In order to cut it, I like to bend the loose wire, like the leftover wire, up a little bit, and then snip really close to the base. I pinch it at the top so that it doesn't go flying. Then you can grab the top and straighten it up a little bit. And once again, we got the little tiny earring wire. We open it by twisting to the side. And twisting back closed. And that's a very simple, elegant glass pearl earring. I wanted to do all this before I do the color matching on her head, so I figured if I was doing crafting against her head, I was going to scrape all the paint right back off her ear. And do another one here. Once upon a time, I made very pretty jewelry for people. But when I started having less and less time, I had to pick and choose and decide which things were most important to me, and that didn't make the cut. So it's nice sometimes to be able to do things for the dolls that let me use the same skills and also the same materials. Man, this thing keeps cutting me off. First my memory card was full, and then the battery died. So I'm just making a tiny little ring here to use for this little glass droplet bead. You can see my loop is not too great yet. Okay, so I eventually got it cut, and I've twisted open the jump ring, going sideways. Now I'm going to slide on the teardrop gem. You have to be careful with these when you're closing the ring because this teardrop is incredibly delicate at the top and it's so easy to break them. And they're not that cheap. They're like 30 cents a bead or something like that, so sometimes you can get them for less. Especially if you order them wholesale, but if you're buying them just like one at a time, they can be pretty pricey for nice ones. I'm just going to flatten that just a little bit. And that one's ready to go onto an earring wire. So here's the other ring. And I'll show you like we open it. Grab it with pliers. Twist it open. Carefully slide on the bead and twist closed. And then these twist open sideways. Slide on the ring, and there we go. Pretty teardrop earring. There. Alright, and another option, I'll show you just one more thing that I wanted to share. Well, there's actually two things that I want to share. One resource for really nice, easy to make earrings is filigree stampings. If you go on eBay or Etsy and you look for brass stampings, that is these. And you can see they're just beautiful, delicate little filigrees that make amazing doll jewelry. They make good people jewelry too. These are some hoops. And then there's these really pretty diamonds that I see used a lot. They're so delicate, and they also come in silver. And the back is shaped. So those also make really nice jewelry with very little effort. And the last thing that I wanted to say was that if you don't want to pierce your doll's ears, like we'll be covering this weekend, you have the option of making a fake earring that gets glued on. And I cover the glued on earrings in the video as well, but you would just make your earring as normal, but then where your fish hook is, you would just do this bottom loop here. Or you can even use an eye pin. Man, that rocking drives me crazy. Don't know if I have any eye pins. Here's one. There we go. You can use an eye pin like this that already has the little loop on it and hang your jewelry from that, your little bead or your design, but then you would just clip right there. That is the part that would get glued on to the front of your doll's ear. They wouldn't be easily changeable because you'd have to peel off the glue every time that you wanted to change the earrings. But it's a great option to fake the look of the pierced ears if you don't want to actually drill through your doll's earlobe. But yeah, that's it for now. Just something real quick. Just 1, 2, 3. And that's all. See you this weekend.